Et sur la table principale, nous avons vu le Premier ministre indien Narendra Modi, le Premier ministre mauricien, le Dr Navin Ramgoolam, le député Prime Minister Paul Béranger, à sa droite le ministre indien des Affaires étrangères, le Dr Jay Shankar, et puis à l'extrême gauche sur votre écran, le ministre des Affaires étrangères de Maurice, Ritesh Ramphal.
His Excellency Mr. Kamini Vital, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Excellencies, distinguished guests. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to this state banquet hosted by the Prime Minister of Mauritius and Mrs. Ramgoolam in honor of His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, on the occasion of our National Day celebrations. May I kindly invite Your Excellencies and distinguished guests to rise for the National Anthem of India, followed by the National Anthem of Mauritius. And a singular privilege to welcome His Excellency the Prime Minister of India in our midst. Bharatiya Pradhan Mantri ji, Mauritius में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है. Excellencies and distinguished guests, I now invite the Prime Minister of Mauritius to address the gathering.
Your Excellency, Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India, Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Paul Béranger, External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. Jay Shankar, distinguished guests. On behalf of the government and people of Mauritius, and in my own personal name and that of my wife Veena, it is both a great honor and especially joyous occasion to welcome you to celebrate with us our Day of Freedom.
Hardik Swagat Che. I'm immensely proud and honored, Prime Minister, that you have accepted my invitation to grace our National Day celebrations by your presence, despite your very heavy schedule. It is a testimony of your deep feelings for Mauritius, Choita Bharat. On a personal note, I recall with great pride and a sense of profound gratitude the unique privilege you so kindly honored me with by inviting me to your first swearing-in ceremony as Prime Minister of India in 2014. I'm hoping you will invite me for the fourth swearing-in as well. I was the only head of government. I was the only head of government from outside the Southern Asian region to have had this unique consideration. Prime Minister, the bond which links India and Mauritius is eternal and sacred. It is no coincidence that Shiv Sagar Ramgoolam, father of the nation, chose the 12th of March as our Freedom Day, which coincides with the date Mahatma Gandhi started his Satyagraha in 1930. When Sir Shiv Sagar arrived in London to study medicine in 1924, he chose to stay at the Indian Students Association's lodgings. I guess they were probably cheaper. But as fate would have it, the fact that he chose to stay there, he made many friends from India. And this somehow led him to join the branch in London of the Indian National Congress. And eventually he became president of the local branch. This inevitably led him to be involved in the national movement for independence. And he met many of these freedom fighters at the time. This is how he met Mahatma Gandhi. He always used to say his hero was Lala Lajpat Rai, the Lion of Punjab. But it was Vithalbhai Patel who became his political guru. Now, I did not know that Vithalbhai Patel was also from Gujarat. His elder brother, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, became Deputy Prime Minister later on. However, he was mostly attracted to the revolutionary methods of Subhash Chandra Bose, who wrote a book called The Indian Struggle. He wasn't allowed to publish it in India. He asked Sir Shiv Sagar to proofread it for him, which he did. And then he went to launch the book in Vienna in 1935. There, he gave a copy of the book to Sir Shiv Sagar, who was then just qualified as a doctor, who was coming back to Mauritius. And in it, he wrote his dedication to the book to SSR, and I want to read it because it says a lot. He said, "Through life and death, let us carry in our hearts the following motto, which fell from the lips of one of the greatest sons of India, Shri Aurobindo Ghosh. I should like to see some of you becoming great. Great not for your own sake, but to make India great, so that she may stand up with head erect among the free nations of the world. Those of you who are poor and obscure, I should like to see their poverty and obscurity devoted to the service of the motherland. Work that she might prosper, suffer that she might rejoice." End of quote. This gives you goosebumps. Written by Subhash Chandra Bose's handwriting. Prime Minister have quoted Netaji only because it shows that undeniable link that the father of the nation had with one of the greatest freedom fighters of India. And it reminds me, Prime Minister, of your constant endeavors to make India reclaim its place among the world's great nations. It is known, and we were sipping, we traveled together in the car, and I know a bit more about the Prime Minister now, the life that he led, the spirituality. Prime Minister has been deeply inspired by Swami Vivekananda's principles of service and sacrifice. Prime Minister, you are the living testimony of selfless public service. Today, thanks to your resolute, determined, and indefatigable effort, you have asserted India's role on the world stage. And this is why I have on every occasion I have had, be it at the United Nations or in other international forums, called for India to be given a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. It is nonsensical and absurd that India, with a population of nearly 1.5 billion people, and a nuclear power at that, should not have its rightful seat at the UN Security Council. Earlier I had mentioned the special bond between our two countries. How can we forget that India was the first country, you mentioned it just now at the convention, first country to send vaccines to Mauritius during the COVID pandemic and saved many lives. The people of Mauritius will always remember that in the midst of the world-threatening pandemic, you, Prime Minister, immediately designated your External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, who we were delighted to have in our midst today. He came to gauge the situation, leading to the vital assistance that India so generously provided. On another personal note, Man Ki Baat, when I was severely affected by COVID, where else to seek state-of-the-art medical attention but in India, where Prime Minister, you ensured that I was given all the necessary care and attention by the best team of doctors on hand. I wasn't even a member of the National Assembly. In fact, I had already been written off. Only a true friend would do that. And both my wife, my sister who is here, my family, will be forever grateful to you, Prime Minister, and to India. Mara Bhai, Modi ji, Tamaro Abhar. I also wish to thank you, Prime Minister, for your telephone call while the election results were coming in on the 11th of November 2024, when it was clear, it was becoming clearer, that we are going through an overwhelming victory. I was deeply touched by your inspiring words, the more so as you were the first head of government to have congratulated me even before the victory was pronounced. This hard-fought victory reinforced my faith in the strength and the will of the people of Mauritius and our democratic values which we share with this great country, India. The peaceful transition that followed the elections demonstrates, once again, the maturity of the Mauritian population and the resilience of our democracy. Prime Minister, let me seize this opportunity to reiterate our gratitude to India's unflinching support to the long-standing struggle to complete its decolonization process, thus allowing us to exercise full sovereignty over our entire territory. Thanks to your principled and influential support, we have no doubt that you have played a pivotal role in encouraging the United Kingdom to engage in the process of negotiations in November 2022. Similarly, we appreciate that you stress the necessity to ensure maritime security in the Indian Ocean during your talks with President Trump in February of this year at the White House. Allow me also to express my gratitude to your distinguished External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, for his intervention on behalf of Mauritius with the former Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, who afterwards rang me to say so. Excellency, the development of infrastructure facilities made possible by your government proved to be crucial during the passage of Cyclone Chido in Agaliga in January 2025. The support of the Indian Navy ensured the swift delivery of essential supplies and construction materials for the rehabilitations of the Agalians. Some of my ministers went there afterwards to see with their eyes. The footprints of India are visible all over the development architecture of Mauritius, be it economic, cultural, or social. I would like here to underscore the crucial role of India in the enhancement of our human capital index. Even before independence, the best institutions of higher learning of India were made accessible to many bright students who otherwise would have been deprived of a university education. Many of them are today occupying positions of high responsibility, both in the public and the private sector. We are also benefiting from the capacity building under the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Scheme. The inauguration of the Civil Service College, named after the former Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, tomorrow, is yet another milestone in the assistance that India is providing us. Prime Minister, distinguished guest, our government program 2025-2029 entitled A Bridge to the Future sets the agenda for the total reconstruction of our country, underpinned by the national goals of economic efficiency, social justice, solidarity, and unity. For us to achieve our ambitious and visionary objectives, we shall have to rely on our traditional development partners, in particular India. There are several crucial areas of cooperation where India could play a meaningful role. I have in mind the ocean economy, green and renewable energy, food security, and artificial intelligence. Prime Minister, our special relationship with India, based on the close historical and cultural links with the land of our ancestors, but also on our commonality of interest as coastal states of a shared ocean, our government program for the next 5 years reaffirms our commitment to develop our ocean economy, now extending to one of the largest oceanic territories in the world. We look forward to further consolidate our collaboration for security in the Indian Ocean region as part of SAGAR. The agreement signed between our two countries during your visit, Excellency, which will be signed tomorrow, already important steps towards the collaboration on ocean-related issues. We are confident that these and others to come will further consolidate and strengthen our collaboration in the ocean space. Mauritius has always supported greater regional cooperation and integration. We are geographically, culturally, and politically close to both the African and the Asian continents. Whilst we're a member of the African regional and sub-regional organizations and trade partnerships, we are also privileged to host two regional Indian Ocean organizations, the Indian Ocean Commission and the Indian Ocean Rim Association. The IORA brings together coastal states from both the African and Asian continents, and we are strongly committed to engaging with India and other member states of the IORA to further strengthen the political and economic ties within the region, and in particular in areas such as climate change and disaster management in a region which faces, as we can see, serious climate change challenges. Prime Minister, ever since the people of India, in their wisdom, entrusted the stewardship of the country in your able hands, you have blazed a transformational trajectory that is nothing short of inspiring. I have learned that you have crisscrossed India to see the problems of ordinary people, what they were facing, without politics in mind, I'm told. And you tried to help them. This, Prime Minister, is the litmus test of a strong and caring Prime Minister. This is what has allowed you to lift India and give it a driving dream, the hallmark of true leadership and character. Excellency, the national rejuvenation of India and the revival of the epic Indian civilization bear your indelible seal. We are highly appreciative of your personal commitment, Prime Minister, to the concerns of the Global South. At the G20 summit in New Delhi in 2023, you successfully shifted the focus to international growth and development and enabled the African Union to become a permanent member of the G20, a decision widely acclaimed by the continent. Africa, Prime Minister, is grateful. Distinguished guests, I would like to express our appreciation to the laudable position of India as regards the dire reality facing small island developing states. SIDS are isolated politically when it comes to major global decisions because we're small. India's support to assist us to grapple with the hurdle of political inaccessibility to major powers